Spanish stadiums are transforming. And it's not just about the Bernabéu or Camp Nou. Many other venues are currently being renovated or have recently been modernized. Today we'll take a closer look mainly at those we've featured in our transformation series on YouTube Shorts. We're visiting 11 locations, most of which are home to La Liga clubs. Some stadiums have changed beyond recognition, while others have seen only minor upgrades. Let's get started. StadiumDB.com presents Transformation of Spanish Stadiums. Estadio El Sadar, Osasuna Pampeluna. Osasuna's stadiums was built between 2019 and 2021. The design of the stadium was chosen by Osasuna fans through a public vote. However, it turned out that modifications to the project were necessary. Most importantly, a new roof had to be constructed over all the stands. As a result, the investment budget increased, but the stadium gained architectural value as the structure now forms a unified whole. This transformation led to El Sadar winning the Stadium of the Year award. Estadi Mallorca son Moix, RCDE Mallorca. The stadium in Mallorca underwent a transformation over the course of 2 years. While it wasn't a spectacular overhaul, it significantly improved the comfort for fans. The stands were moved closer to the pitch and more roofing was added. Removing the Athtetic track was especially well received, not just by Mallorca supporters, but by football fans in general, who know that being close to the action makes all the difference. This is one of 9 stadiums on this list that we've visited in person. Estadi Ciutat de Valencia, Levante UD. Between 2007 and 2010, a shopping center was built along the eastern stand. In the summer of 2016, the club replaced all the seats in the stadium and repainted parts of the structure in the club's colors. From 2020 to 2021, a new roof was added, covering all the stands. Along with the roof came 2 large video screens, among other upgrades. So while the stadium's evolution took time, it was gradual and consistent. In the future, renovation work will also include the facade. Estadio Abanca Balaídos, Celta Vigo. The project, known as Balaídos for the 21st century, aimed to build completely new stands behind the goals and give the stadium a proper football-specific layout. A large part of the plan has already been completed, despite the challenges of expanding the venue in Vigo due to the proximity of streets and surrounding buildings. The most noticeable change is the facade, highly original and somewhat controversial, as it's not to everyone's taste. RCDE Stadium, Espanyol Barcelona. Built over the course of nearly 4 years, the stadium ultimately reached a capacity of exactly 40,000 seats. One of the main challenges during construction was the part of the stadium was located in a different municipality than the other. This and other issues were eventually resolved, allowing the club to stop playing at Montjuic. At Espanyol's stadium, fans can even stay forever, thanks to a collective columbarium where the ashes of deceased supporters can be laid to rest. Estadio Anoeta, Real Sociedad. Work in San Sebastián took place between 2017 and 2019. It's one of the many Spanish stadiums to receive a new facade wrapped around the old structures. The capacity increased from 32,000 to 39,500 seats, and the roof was expanded by integrating old and new elements. The facade now has a modern look and offers better protection from the elements. Given the complexity of the project, the renovation period was remarkably short, especially considering the Anoeta remained in use for football matches throughout the entire process. Before we move on to the 5 biggest stadium transformations in Spain, make sure to subscribe to our channel and share this video. It really helps us grow and keep bringing you more content like this. Thank you. San Mamés, Athtetic Bilbao. Construction of the new stadium, located just a few dozen meters north of the original San Mamés, began in 2010. The facade was ultimately formed by thousands of white ribs. Each rib is slightly bent, meaning the panels don't sit flush against the structure, allowing light and ventilation to pass through. Already after the first season, there were calls for structural changes. Although the roof officially covered even the corners of the pitch, fans were still getting soaked by driving rain. As a result, Athtetic decided to add an extra ring to the roof. Inside, the striking effect of a red wall of seats was achieved. One can only imagine how Camp Nou will look at nearly twice the size. Nou Mestalla, Valencia CF. This is the longest-running stadium construction project, not only on this list, but anywhere in the world. Of course, that doesn't mean work was ongoing at Nou Mestalla throughout all those years. The hiatus was record-breaking, but now construction is finally moving toward a happy, albeit still distant, conclusion. When work resumed in early 2025, yet another redesign was unveiled. The previously planned sleek roof was replaced with a cheaper white membrane version, which lacks solar panels but gives the stadium a slightly more Mediterranean feel. Valencia will gain a major stadium capable of competing not only to host major tournaments, but also the UEFA Champions League final. Riyadh Metropolitano, Atletico Madrid. Construction of Atletico's stadium began in 2011 and took 6 years to complete. Originally, the site featured an athletics track and a distinctive tall stand. During the redevelopment, that stand was surrounded by an entirely new ring of seating. The project's most extraordinary feature and the stadium's signature element is the structure known as the hat, which rises to 42 meters at its highest point. The design deserves more than just a label of a roof. It's a masterpiece of engineering and architecture, combining function with form, and is one of the largest of its kind. Atletico still has ambitious plans for the stadium, including hopes of hosting NFL games and creating a 360-degree screen. Estadio Santiago Bernabéu, Real Madrid. The massive transformation of Bernabéu took 6 years to complete. In the summer of 2019, the first phase of work began with the removal of the old roof over the stands. The old towers nearby were demolished in the summer of 2021. Installation of the main steel elements of the new roof structure was completed on December 8, 2022. By early 2023, most of the stands were covered, while finishing work on the stadium's outer shell continued into the second half of the 2023. Cutting-edge features such as a 360-degree screen, a massive underground hypogeum with interchangeable playing surfaces, and an impressive array of facilities behind the scenes make a lasting impression. Spotify Camp Nou, FC Barcelona. The demolition of Camp Nou was widely shared around the world. Fans everywhere recognized the iconic stadium in Les Corts, which was once the most visited by tourists. Although the overall capacity won't increase significantly, nearly everything else is being transformed. Not only are the worn-out sitting areas, long criticized by fans, being modernized, but the VIP and business zones are also being expanded. The most striking change will be the new roof covering all the stands, along with the skywalk above it. Unlike the Bernabéu, FC Barcelona's stadium will retain some of its original exterior character. Once completed, Spotify Camp Nou will become the largest stadium in Europe. The project is estimated to cost over €1 billion, but Joan Laporta has several ambitious ideas to ensure the investment pays off quickly. Which final result is more your style, Bernabéu or Camp Nou? Join the discussion in the comments. Meanwhile, we're already gearing up for our next videos across the channel. See you daily on our social media.